Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Daincast. This time we've got another game from our friend Auramaru, also known as Somnus Rage. This is a little older replay from him, so he hasn't changed his name yet. He's also informed me that he has since changed his tactics and become a better player, which of course is actually a very speedy process for him. He's been improving very quickly. He only started playing the game a short little while ago, and he has been improving like an absolute rocket. Really proud of this guy, and I'm excited to see what he has for us in this game. He's playing a PvT against a Barcode Terran, filthy Barcode Terrans, guys. If you're in Bronze League or Silver League or Gold League or really anything other than like Top Grandmaster, why are you playing on a Barcode? There's no personality here. There's nothing for me to talk about as a caster. You just got a Barcode. I mean, I can talk about the fact that you shouldn't be on a Barcode. Like, who are you hiding your strats from, dude? Your brother? He can see over your shoulder, dude. He's sitting right beside you. The people on the internet don't care about your strats, so don't be playing on a Barcode. Have some personality. Be a human being, you know what I mean? Let your opponents know who you are so that you can have some banter with them, you know what I mean? Anyway, so Auramaru is going to be the blue Protoss in the bottom right-hand corner. He is going to be walling off of his ramp. Not really sure what that is for. It's obviously can be standard practice in the lower leagues just to make sure you have a point of entry that is being watched with a pylon to scout out what's coming into your base. So this can be a very basic way to just start playing the game, just to make sure that you know what's coming in and out of your base and you can stop it and defend it in some way or another. Obviously, against Terrans in general, what you'd probably want to start doing is walling off somewhere where Reapers can get in your base. As you get to the level where Terrans are making Reapers and scouting your base with them, it's probably better to put the wall, the first few buildings over here to stop the Reaper from getting up this ramp, or over here, or potentially over here in the back to stop the Reapers from being able to do a loop-de-loop and kind of peek around you as they are in your base. So you want to make things a little bit more difficult for the Terran player if at all possible. But this wall has its merits as well. It does allow you to block potentially the SCV from getting in your base. It will allow you to stop Hellions from coming into your main base. So there's lots of good things about this wall as well. So I have to see if this actually even comes into play this game. Auramaru is sticking on a one base build. He's going for 2 gases right off the bat. I like this from him. It's nice and safe, nice and aggressive, not so much focused on economy the way that this Barcode Terran is. He's going for a Reaper expand, adding his reactor, a little bit of a janky build here. I think he's going to be going for some fairly early Hellions. I like that he's on 1 gas as well. So the worker lead is going to go to Auramaru just for now, but as the game goes on, I think things are going to turn around and he's going to be behind, given the fact that his opponent is going for this very fast expansion. There's no expansion even started for Aura, but he does have one advantage, which is that he has this Stargate, but hopefully this Terran is not going to scout this. You can see this is why the scouting is oh so important, and this is why the wall can be important, because it can make this annoying. So this Reaper is going to be able to just dance around here. This Zealot's going to chase it around aimlessly, because as long as this Reaper is microed properly, it's not going to die. I don't know if he scouted the Stargate yet, but if he can... Okay, so now the Reaper's going to get enough damage done. He's only got 1 kill here, despite all of this attention being paid to it. I wonder how the Terran's macro is doing back home, and he's even going to keep this Reaper alive here, escaping narrowly from that Stalker at the last moment. But as we can see, this has cost him a fair amount of APM. He's floating a lot of minerals. Looks like he decides, you know what? I'm floating 1,000 minerals because of my Reaper harass. I might as well put down a 3rd command center. This is totally intentional, you guys. This is part of my build. I meant to float this money and build this command center. I'm a very economic-based player, but he's got no units at home. He's got no units at home because this Reaper got 1 kill. The important thing, though, is that the Reaper has scouted, and he's seen the Stargate, but he doesn't see the fleet bacon. So this is going to give Auramaru the potential to do some carrier harass, which we love to see, especially in these lower leagues. Lower level players don't really know how to deal with a unit like the carrier just on its own. If you make one, they don't know what to do. So Aura's going to take his natural expansion here, just investing enough resources in this game in order to get his carriers going as soon as humanly possible. Would like to see a chrono boost on this Stargate, but he's already starting a carrier. It's 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and he's already starting a carrier with a chrono boost. Beautiful movement, and he's already got +1 air weapons on the way, and he's got +1 armor for them as well. But the +1 air weapons is really what's going to be the deciding factor here. And so as we see this carrier coming out, it's a useful exercise to have a look in the Terran's base and see what is he up to, and how is this going to fare against this carrier. Going over to the Terran's base, let's have a look. He has 3 Widow Mines, 4 Widow Mines, and a building starport, and a third command center, and lots of workers. So, you know, not the worst thing in the world here from our Terran player. The Widow Mine's obviously going to be helpful. I think he's expecting an Oracle, so he's going to build these Widow Mines and try and deal with the Oracle by putting them in his mineral line. But he doesn't know about it yet. He's getting ship weapons. He's getting a starport and a second factory. So only now is the starport starting. This is going to give a nice little window for Auramaru to potentially do some damage. These Widow Mines can be very dangerous for the carriers, given that if they burrow underneath them and target fire them, they can be very dangerous. They can also be very good at killing the interceptors. Obviously, a carrier without interceptors is basically just a floating rock. You can move it towards your opponent. It might look a little bit intimidating, but nothing's going to come out of it. It's not going to get any velocity to actually hurt anybody. And so, yeah, it's not going to be the biggest deal. So really what you need here is for the carriers to engage at an angle in the dead space so that they can harass and get kills without dying. Now, the Barcode Terran here has his third CC built, but he's not flying it over to his third expansion. So this is going to mean that he's overproducing workers and overmining at his natural expansion. So even though he's on 2 base economy with the 3 orbital commands, his income is fantastic, but he doesn't actually have a 3 base income yet. He really needs to land this somewhere else so that he can start benefiting from it to its full potential. This Reaper's still alive here, is going to walk into this army. Now he's going to see the carriers. So now the jig is up for the carrier game. The opponent is going to know about this. Looks like he's going to go for the high-sec auto-tracking upgrade and the building armor. This will actually be surprisingly effective, as you've got turrets here, and you've got, well, if you build a planetary fortress and turrets, it's going to take a lot longer for carriers to kill those if they have the +2 building armor. He is getting drilling claws as well, which is going to let him burrow the Widow Mines underneath the carriers very quickly, and it's going to mean that Auramaru is going to have detection with his units in order to deal with the Widow Mines. Especially, you want to get these before they burrow underneath your carriers. Obviously, if they actually end up going off and connecting with the carriers can just melt very, very quickly to Widow Mines, and with the drilling claws upgrade, they are very, very quick as well. So Auramaru, what he wants to do here is hit a critical mass of carriers with upgrades. He's even getting his +2 air weapon upgrades as well. He's got his +1 armor as well, which is going to help them trade favorably against Marines. If this is you guys, prioritize the air weapon upgrades every single time. The air weapon upgrade is going to be so much helpful. So very helpful. But this conga line of Widow Mines is marching towards the third base. Not every day you see a push from Terran that's just robot mines, and they are looking to engage on these carriers. He needs to make sure that he burrows them, and a few of them do go off and connect with the carrier, so a lot of damage being taken on these carriers. All the shields are gone, and now Auramaru is frantically trying to kite these back, but actually all of the interceptors have gone down that were sent out. He does have an observer with his army, and all of the Widow Mines have fired, so I think this is going to leave Auramaru with a chance to engage these if he decides to. I think he's a little bit nervous about this because, as far as he knows, they are hidden. So he does have an observer with him, but with the drilling claws, they're going to be harder to spot. The Widow Mines are going to go into the third base of Auramaru, but he is wisely pulling his probes, realizing he doesn't want to be taking that economic damage, as carriers are pretty dang expensive. A scan does come out, and he kills the observer of the Protoss player. Not something you see every day in the lower ranks. A nice positional play from the Terran player. A few Widow Mines do go off and connect with these carriers. He doesn't have an observer with this anymore, so another Widow Mine is going to connect with these. So some nice Widow Mine play from the barcoded Terran, but now there's no mining happening at the third base for Auramaru, and the Widow Mines are once again burrowing near these probes, getting quite a few worker kills. 9 workers do go down, but now there is, well, actually, there is still not an observer with this. With the scans and with the continual harassment, the carriers have gotten very, very low. They're not quite dead yet, but there's only 3 carriers here for Auramaru. He's making them 3 at a time, but if these go off, this can be very dangerous. 1 carrier does go down, a second goes down, so now 2 carriers have been killed by these Widow Mines, and there is a conga line of more Widow Mines marching towards the natural of Auramaru. I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with this. He does have an observer on the way, needs to make sure he keeps that back so he does not lose it to a scan. The scan comes down, but Auramaru is being a little bit more careful this time. He's not going to commit into these Widow Mines with this observer just yet. Needs to very carefully control these. It is doable, but it's going to be very, very tedious. The 3 Widow Mines are split off and sent into the natural expansion of Auramaru. Does the Terran have another scan? No, he does, but he does not have a Widow Mine in position to deal with it. A few more Widow Mines do come underneath and burrow under the carriers, but there are still 2 carriers alive here. Most of the, well, actually all of the interceptors have gone down. There is 1 more Widow Mine joining the fight here, but it is going to detonate only on a single interceptor. Interceptor. It might have actually friendly fired a Widow Mine there. 3 more Widow Mines being sent into the natural expansion. Looks like our Terran player is just going to do everything he can to harass these probes with only Widow Mines. This is a very aggressive strategy. He's now switching into triple starport off of 3 bases, Viking production with reactors. This is going to be very, very sensible to deal with these Widow Mines. And there is there's no mining happening at the 3rd base or the natural base of Auramaru, who's definitely behind in the economy now. 31 workers to the 69 of his opponent. And he does have better upgrades for his air units, but these mines are still here, and I don't think he even has an observer here anymore. Only now is one joining the fray. He wants to clean these up as soon as possible, but there's just a non-stop parade of Widow Mines continuing to do damage in the natural expansion of Auramaru. One of them does go down. 2 more do go down. A scan comes out, but the mines are cleaned up before anything else happens. So now Aura's feeling a little bit more comfortable now. He's got 2 observers with his army, and he's going to be able to resaturate his bases. It looks like the Terran's been pushed out for the time being. Auramaru is onto his tricks. He's going to start keeping his observers in better positions so they do not go into the good night, at least gently. Terran, though, is fully saturated on 3 bases. He's got 60, now 70 army supply to the 51 of Auramaru, but the good thing for Aura is that he is on carriers, and as long as he can get a good trade against these Vikings to start with, he might be in a good position. But Terran's taking a 4th base, and there's no mining still happening at the 3rd base of Auramaru. Would like to see a cannon here or something, but he can't really afford it at this point. He's going to have to be very, very careful here. These drilling claws mines being so annoying. Auramaru is going to look to end this game now. He wants to move out and start doing some damage on the Terran side of the map. He's got a few carriers left at home, but they are still being rallied across the map. A few Widow Mines go into the 3rd base at the close by air position of Auramaru. He's going to try and engage these, but with no observer here. Actually, this observer is here, but it's a little bit overextended. It's on the way to join this fight. Aura, don't know if he knows about these Vikings just yet. He needs to engage with absolutely everything. The Vikings are not focus firing. Now they finally are, but the carriers are a little bit out of position with a little bit of kiting from these Vikings. All the carriers are going to go down basically for free. Nice control from the Terran player. Kills absolutely everything. Deletes these carriers one by one. This is how you deal with carriers, guys. Overwhelm them with Vikings. Right-click on them, and you will win the game. There are Widow Mines burrowed all over the place. Auramaru typing GG, and the game is going to go to our Barcode Terran. Your micro is incredible.